The notoriously named Golden State Killer, who is behind several murders and rapes from the 1970s to 1980s, was Joseph James D'Angelo.
He was a former police officer in Exeter, California. While still serving as a police officer, D'Angelo shot and killed Professor Claude Snelling in front of Snelling's daughter.
In the summer of 1976, a series of burglaries and rapes terrorized the area. D'Angelo would break into homes, steal cash coins, identification, and jewelry from people while they slept.
He tended to target couples and rape the female before killing her. He was 74 years old when he pleaded guilty to 13 counts of first-degree murder.
There were also several more accusations of rape that he never admitted to.
Today's story is over Richard Ramirez. People called him the Night Stalker. During this era, everyone was already paranoid, and he was just adding to their panic.
He was able to commit 14 murders and 67 felonies during this time because of the lack of technology during the 80s. Richard Ramirez's first known victim was Mei Ling, a 9-year-old girl murdered on April 10, 1984 in San Francisco.
His next victim was 79-year-old Denny Vinco in June 1984. Nothing happened for the next 9 months until he attacked multiple people in March 1985, including Dale Okazuki and Cy Leonu.
This is when the peak of the paranoia happened. People started realizing what was happening by the time he reached the Vincent and Maxine Zazzara case in late March.
By May and June, he was striking multiple times a week. Victims like Harold Witherell, Blanca Estrada, and Melville Keller showed that he was moving through different neighborhoods with zero pattern.
And then came the San Francisco scare. Up until this point, he was a Southern California problem. But in August 1985, he traveled north and killed Peter Pan in San Francisco.
That was the turning point. The mayor of San Francisco and the mayor of Los Angeles were suddenly forced to work together. This cross-city movement was rare for criminals back then because police databases didn't talk to each other across county lines.
The spree finally hit its breaking point with its last victims in Orange County and Diamond Bar, including Eliza Albaroth. By this point, the police had recovered a stolen car with that one magic fingerprint inside.
Every name on the list of his victims represents a family that was changed forever. The reason we go over the timeline isn't for the shock value. It's to show how a single individual was able to exploit the gaps in 1980s law enforcement for over a year.
Our next story is on one of the biggest artists of the century. Elvis Presley was born in Tupelo, Mississippi in 1935. In 1954, he met Sam Phillips in Memphis, who would be his producer for a year and a half after. Between 1956 and 1958, his songs spent a total of 57 weeks, over a year, at the top of the charts. His hit, Heartbreak Hotel, which topped the charts for 7 weeks, was inspired by a tragic headline in a newspaper about a man who killed himself and left a simple note which read, "I walk a lonely road." Sam, his former employer, called it a morbid mess, but it remains a song that defined the century.
The call that echoed forever, how Al Michaels captured the miracle on ice. When the underdog U.S. hockey team stunned the mighty Soviet Union at the 1980 Winter Olympics, broadcaster Al Michaels didn't script history, he simply reacted to it. As the final seconds of the game ticked away, his unforgettable question, "Do you believe in miracles?" "Yes," became one of the most iconic calls in sports history. But what made the moment so unforgettable wasn't just the call, it was who was on the ice.
The U.S. hockey team was made up almost entirely of college players and amateurs. Many of the players were barely out of their teens. They lacked the experience, skill, and size against the USSR. Head coach Herb Brooks had assembled a young, fast, and disciplined group, but few outside the locker room believed they could compete with the world's best.
Across from them stood the Soviet Union, a team that wasn't just dominant, but seemingly unbeatable. They had won 4 straight Olympic gold medals, crushed opponents by wide margins. In an exhibition game just weeks before the Olympics, the Soviets had dismantled the U.S. team 10-3, and yet, as the incredible game neared its conclusion, the Americans held a stunning 4-3 lead. The impossible was becoming real.
Michaels knew he needed to say something, not forced. Then in the final seconds, it just came out.
"Do you believe in miracles?" Yes.
Years later, Michaels admitted the line wasn't planned or even thought out. There was no rehearsal, just his instinct. And that instinct captured everything: the disbelief, the joy, and the magnitude of what had just happened. A group of college kids toppling a hockey empire.
It wasn't just a win. It was a moment of national pride, a symbol of possibility, and one of the greatest upsets in sports history.
Today we take a closer look at a pivotal moment in American education and Cold War history, the National Defense Education Act.
It's 1958. The United States is in the middle of a Cold War, and tensions with the Soviet Union are running high. Just a year earlier, the Soviets launched Sputnik 1, the first artificial satellite to orbit Earth. That single event shocked Americans and raised serious concerns. Was the U.S. falling behind in science and technology?
In response, President Dwight Eisenhower signed the National Defense Education Act, often called the NDEA, into law on September 2, 1958. Its mission was clear: strengthen the nation's education system to better serve national defense.
The law marked a major shift. For the first time in U.S. history, the federal government took a large direct role in funding education. The focus? Boosting student achievement in critical areas like science, mathematics, engineering, and foreign languages, fields seen as essential to competing with the Soviet Union.
So what did the NDEA actually do?
It provided federal funding to schools and universities across the country. That included student loans and scholarships to encourage more young Americans to pursue higher education, especially in technical fields. It also funded teacher training programs, improved guidance and counseling services, and supported new educational tools like television and radio instruction.
The act didn't just impact colleges, it reached into elementary and secondary schools as well, offering grants to improve classroom instruction and expand access to modern subjects like foreign languages.
But the NDEA wasn't without controversy. Critics worried that increased federal funding might lead to federal control over local schools. Others argued that the law focused too heavily on science and technology with the expense of broader education. Still, supporters saw it as a necessary step to ensure the nation's security and future competitiveness.
In the long run, the National Defense Education Act left a lasting legacy. It helped reshape American education, expanded access to higher learning, and set the stage for future federal education programs. Most importantly, it reinforced a powerful idea: that education isn't just about personal growth, it can also be a matter of national security.
For many historians, the NDEA stands as a defining example of how global competition can drive change at home, right down to the classroom.
From the Cold War, and today's story is about Princess Diana and her scandalous and heavily media-covered marriage. 1981, Diana married Charles, and many called it the wedding of the century, according to Teen Vogue. Hundreds of millions of people worldwide watched the live television coverage of their wedding, which instantly turned Diana into a global icon. The press portrayed her as the perfect young princess. Additionally, Diana's marriage sparked a new wave of heavy paparazzi and media coverage. But the picture-perfect marriage wasn't as perfect as it seemed. Diana later admitted she felt overwhelmed by the royal life, and she reported her marriage having serious issues just within the first few years. By 1984, the emotional distance in the marriage was already significant.
The press didn't just report the marriage, it turned into a storyline. Every outing they were at, paparazzi harassed them. Every small expression or body language was immediately on headlines the next day. Newspapers started speculating that there were issues in the marriage. Diana's marriage was basically the first ever royal marriage that was so heavily reported on.
By the mid-'80s, affair speculations began growing with Diana and Charles. The press openly asked about their marriage, asking about their issues. Personal issues with both the partners began major headlines, leading to even more issues within the marriage.
But the thing no one truly thought about was the impact it had on Diana. Not just her public image, but her mental health. She was one of the most scrutinized women in the whole world, not just in the UK. Stories of her marriage are over-exaggerated and sometimes could be completely false. The constant attention added intense emotional pressure. The media wasn't just covering events, it was shaping how the world saw her relationship in real time. Princess Diana's marriage changed how the world viewed celebrities. By the 1980s completely changed how the media covered celebrity relationships. What started as a fairy tale didn't just fall apart, it unfolded in front of the entire world.
Hello everyone, it's Layla and Mars here. Our topic is about weather in the 80s. On Sunday, December 25th, 1988, a tragic thing happened not too long after 6 a.m. An EF tornado touched down in Rebel Meadows area of northwest Franklin. The tornado was moving about 45 miles per hour northeast, leaving a little bit of damage. The structures in its path were pretty much destroyed. It lifted up for good in Brenthaven area of eastern part of Brentwood. Property damage around $8 million and $30 million per the Tennessean newspaper. Approximately 54 homes, 13 apartment units, 31 businesses, and 6 parked airplanes were damaged or destroyed.
There were 7 reported injuries. 1 man was killed on the roof of his house. This tornado began just west of Franklin High School in the Rebel Meadows area along Hillsborough Road, then tracked northeast, striking homes, and the LDS Church along Ernest Rice Lane. The tornado then damaged a private air park on the west side of Franklin Road. The worst damage was along General George Patton Drive from the Brentwood Point condos northward to Morris Lane, where several businesses were heavily damaged and destroyed.
Fam, we're back with another one, and we're here with King Vaughn, special shout out. And today we're going to be going over the business of 1960 and the oil corporations and major technology of them. And we will ask them now.
Oh, yeah.
So the first question that the viewers have is about the prices, the boom, innovations, leaders, and recent developments of General Motors so far.
I think the prices are pretty good right now. We have majority of the oil. The company owns it. And some innovations we've had is definitely getting more oil. But then we've made cars. We've started really the muscle cars. We've got the Pontiac GTO. It makes around 400, I think, and weighs about 3,700 pounds. And then we've got also the Corvette Stingray, and both of these are just like leading innovations into the sports car industry. And just the oil has helped us, and just the parts for these engines, you all get it from General Motors, and there's not much aftermarket, so we're making a lot of money off of the oil and our muscle cars.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Well, thank you for answering those questions, Kason. Now we will go into the shout out from Miss Black and the unpaid sponsorship.
Shout out Miss Black real quick. This is an unpaid sponsorship, but it doesn't matter because we got that money already. So we just wanted to say go join our classroom, and now we're going to dance.
Oh my gosh, I'm so bad at dancing.
It's okay.